Coming up on today's Airborne, the B-29 named Doc is nearly airworthy. The VAA will celebrate the post-World War II aircraft boom, and the AEA announces its first quarter 2014 avionics market report. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. I'm Ashley Hale. The group working to restore the B-29 bomber named Doc to an airworthy condition say that the airplane should be ready to fly by the end of the year. The man recognized as the driving force behind Doc's restoration is Tony Mazzolini. Mazzolini's participation led to the formation of the group Doc's Friends that located the B-29 and has brought the restoration to near completion. Doc's Friends is a 501c3 nonprofit board managing the restoration. The airplane sat in a desert boneyard for nearly 42 years before being bought by the group, a process that took 11 years to work through the bureaucracy. The restoration has been in progress since the year 2000. The B-29 project is located in Wichita, Kansas, and is housed in a hangar donated by Boeing. The donation of space runs out at the end of this year. They hope to find a permanent home for Doc in Wichita, from where they will fly it around the country as a living museum. This year at EAA AirVenture Oshkosh, the Vintage Aircraft Association is celebrating the tremendous post-World War II production boom of airframes that followed the end of the war. In the peak year of 1946 alone, more than 30,000 light airplanes were built and sold. VAA President Jeff Robeson said, quote, "We had a very successful turnout in 2012 in the vintage area, when we hosted more than 180 Piper J3 Cubs to celebrate the Cubs' 75th anniversary. Building on that success, the VAA wishes to invite all owners and operators of aircraft manufactured from 1945 to 1947 to fly to Oshkosh and display their wonderful airplanes representing this boom in GA aircraft production." End quote. The VAA has communicated with several type clubs represented from that time frame and also seeks any other aircraft owners with a suitable aircraft to participate in this special vintage showcase. You're watching Airborne. We'll be right back with more news and our feature of the day.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird X-Wind SE and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulation.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to be a supporter of Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or our podcast, drop an email to jim@aero-news.net. The Aircraft Electronics Association has released its first quarter 2014 avionics market report. In the first 3 months of this year, total worldwide business and general aviation avionics sales amounted to more than $651 million. That amount shows an 11.2% increase in sales compared to the first quarter of 2013. The dollar amount reported used net sales price, not manufacturer's suggested retail price, and includes all business and general aviation aircraft electronic sales. The amount does not include repairs and overhauls, extended warranty, or subscription services. Of the $652 million in total sales in the first quarter, more than $330 million came from avionics equipment installed by airframe manufacturers during original production sales. Avionics equipment installed after original production sales amounted to $321 million. Paula Dirks, AEA president, said, quote, "It's encouraging to see total avionics sales in the business and general aviation market grow by more than 11% from the same time period 1 year ago. This report is another positive economic indicator for the general aviation industry, which continues its recovery from the recession." End quote. And now it's time for our Aero video of the week.
Final liftoff.
The Corinth Canal cuts through the narrow isthmus of Corinth in Greece. It's 4 miles long and only 70 feet wide. And Peter Besenyei shows us how to get through it in a real hurry. Search "Flying Through the Corinth Canal" on YouTube. The FAA has issued a special airworthiness information bulletin addressing cracking discovered in certain aluminum fittings that attach the horizontal stabilizer to the fuselage of Robert E. Russ Jr. de Havilland DH-C1 Chipmunk models 21, 22, and 22A, serial numbers C1001 through C1014 airplanes. The SAIB says that the Chipmunk 22A airplanes may also be identified by other model numbers that are provided in the document. Chipmunk owners are advised to check the documents carefully to see if it applies to their aircraft. The SAIB also addresses shims that may be incorrectly installed between the subject fittings and their mating components, resulting in an incorrect tailplane incidence setting. According to the SAIB, the FAA recently became aware of an airworthiness concern through an airworthiness directive issued by the United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority. ADG 2013 through 0002, dated October 2, 2013, concerns the fittings that attach the horizontal stabilizer to the fuselage. Airborne is brought to you by some of the best sponsors in the aviation business. We'll be right back with more news.
ADS-B will be mandatory for most aircraft by 2020 in the United States, but you can benefit from ADS-B today with the Bendix King KT-74 Mode S transponder. The KT-74 meets the global mandates for ADS-B out when attached to a suitable WAAS GPS. Finally, the extraordinary story of the world-changing X-Prize space competition is being told and illustrated with hundreds of insider photos in Jim Campbell's colorful new book, Beyond the Blue. Journey with Jim as he flies formation with spaceships, plays in zero gravity, prepares rocket racers, and documents the amazing first decade of the personal space race. Available this summer. Get your advance order in now by checking out www.kindredspirit.com.
Welcome back! Dassault Aviation's Falcon 7X has set a new transatlantic speed record, flying between Teterboro, New Jersey and London City Airport at an average speed of Mach 0.88. The 7X took off from Teterboro Airport at 8:04 a.m. local time on May 2nd, with 2 pilots and 3 passengers on board. The aircraft was fully equipped for normal operation with standard cockpit and cabin equipment. 5 hours and 54 minutes later, it touched down on the short 4,000-foot runway at London City Airport. The 7X can fly into and out of airfields like London City, La Mole, Saint-Tropez, France, and other airports that are typically inaccessible to large cabin business jets. The 7X provided the longest range of any business jet out of London City, allowing it to easily serve destinations as distant as New York or Dubai. May 14th marked the 60th anniversary of the rollout of Boeing's airline research airplane, often referred to as the Dash 80. This airplane developed into the Boeing 707 that can take credit for revolutionizing the airline business. The full designation of the airplane that became the 707 was the Boeing Model 367-80. The Boeing Model 367 was a piston-powered airplane then in production by Boeing, and the Dash 80 designation was added to disguise from competition that Boeing was building a jet-powered transport plane. Boeing invested $60 million of its own funds to build this research airplane, and it was a gamble that paid off. The Dash 80 matured into numerous 707 model variations that include the VC-137, which was the first jet-powered Air Force One. The Dash 80 spawned the Air Force KC-135 aerial tanker, which continues in operation today. The Dash 80 is now a featured display of the National Air and Space Museum at Washington Dulles International Airport, where it's listed as being one of the 12 most significant aircraft of all time. Well, that's our program. Remember to get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories at aero-news.net. Remember, Airborne is streamed 3 times a week and is always online. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a new episode. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.